Welcome back. This is Math Level C, Lesson 27. We're going to open our workbooks and find part 1. It looks like this. Each of these descriptions tells about one of the rectangles. You're going to figure out which rectangle goes with each description. Then you'll put the numbers on the arrows for the rectangles. Find rectangle E. That rectangle is 1 foot high and 2 feet wide. You can see that one other rectangle is just as high as E. Which rectangle is that? D. One rectangle is just as wide as E. Which rectangle is that? A. Description 1. The rectangle is 5 feet wide and 1 foot high. It's much wider than it is high. In fact, it's 5 times wider than it is high. Find that rectangle. Which rectangle is 5 feet wide and 1 foot high? Rectangle D. Description number 2. The rectangle is 2 feet wide and 5 feet high. It is much higher than it is wide. Which rectangle do you think that one is? Rectangle A. Description 3. The rectangle is 5 feet wide and 10 feet high. It's higher than it is wide. It's as wide as one of the other rectangles you found, but this rectangle is higher. Which rectangle? F. Description 4. The rectangle is 3 feet wide and 3 feet high. It's as high as it is wide. Which rectangle is that? Rectangle C. Your turn. After each description, write the letter of the correct rectangle, then fix up each rectangle that is described. Write the numbers in to show how high and how wide each rectangle is. When you're finished, find part 2. Part 2 in your workbook. These are addition problems that have 6 as a small number. Write answers to all the addition problems in part 2. When you are finished, you may unpause the video and continue on. Find part 3. You'll make a line for each problem. Touch problem A. How long is the line that is shown? 3 inches. So below the line, they started another line for you, and you're going to make a line that is only 2 inches. Your line will be 1 inch shorter than the line shown. Find B. Next, you make a line that is 1 inch high. Your line has to be just as high as that line is long. Go ahead and draw your lines. When you are finished, you have a little bit of independent work here. You can go ahead and just ignore part 4 for now, because that's going to be in your textbook later on. All right, part 5 is independent work. Go ahead and answer those questions for me using your chart. But first you have to complete your chart, so make sure you are adding these numbers up, add them this way and add them this way, and also add the numbers downwards for your totals. Okay, and you have a small part on the following page. Greater than, less than, or equal to. Remember, it always eats the bigger number. So if you have a bigger number, your sign goes this way to eat your bigger number, or the opposite way, or equal if they are the same. Okay, now we're jumping over to our textbook. All right, part 1. On lined paper, we're going to go ahead and write the number families. Remember, the number that goes at the end, the big number, is always bigger, taller, faster, stronger. All right. So let's see, A says P is larger than W. So which one goes at the end of my line? P is larger than W, so then my P goes at the end and my W goes up here. That's all I'm doing is plugging the letters on the line. Problem B, F is smaller than T. So if I know F is smaller, I'm going to put it up here, and then T is my big number. I want you guys to go ahead and try and C and D on your own. When you are finished, find part 2. All right, we're going to plug in numbers on the number family. One of the numbers is going to be a letter, okay? The first small number is 174. The big number is H, so we are solving for H. Second small number is 694. Okay, I'm missing my big number, so am I going to add or subtract? I'm going to add 694 plus 174. Whatever this equals, H equals blank. Go ahead and solve. Problem B. The big number is 542. The small numbers are W and 451. What letter am I solving for? W. I'm missing a small number, so small number I subtract. So I start from with the big number. 542 minus 451. This is going to be one that you have to borrow, okay? Because you can't take 5 from 4, so you have to go next door. Make sure that you follow the rules about borrowing in that problem. Part 3 in your textbook. These are tough subtraction problems. Start with the ones column in each problem. Read the problem carefully and borrow if you need to. Copy the problems on lined paper. Write the answers. Make sure to follow the rules about borrowing. When you are finished, we are moving on to part 4. That portion was also in your workbook. It was the answers. That's why I told you to skip it. So go ahead and try and write out these problems. And then solve them. They're easy subtraction problems. And if you would like to check your work, you're more than welcome to look back in the workbook page. When you are finished, go ahead and complete the independent work, part 5 and part 6 in your textbook. When you are finished, please submit to your teacher.